Welcome back, SuicideFantasyFootball.com. I'm Eric Butz.
And I'm Jim Butz.
And we are going to tell you a little bit about running backs.
We get to actually give advice this time.
First, I got to show everyone how ridiculously pale we are, Jim. Our computer has trouble adjusting to us.
To our big white heads.
We're so white. So watch, when I leave the screen, it gets darker. And then when our big white domes get back in, it doesn't know what to focus on. We are awesome.
Yes.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about running backs that might be available in fantasy football this week.
May or may not be available. If he's available,
Murray.
DeMarco Murray, everybody saw him. No news flash there. You know, you have 250 yards.
Most people, being that he played against the Rams last week, most leagues, I would think, I want to say I saw him taken in 55% of the leagues.
But so, that's still a pretty good option. If he's available in 45% of the leagues, you better get your claim in early.
You better have first position in the waiver wire. You're probably not getting them. All right, so next guy, Jim, Delone Carter. Against Tennessee, I really like Delone Carter this week.
I really like Delone Carter this week. I like Donald Brown. He wasn't getting enough of the carries. I mean, he's a first-round pick, so you would think that they'd try to give him a shot, but they kind of already looks like they already gave up on him. They're already ready to move on. I think he has more talent. I think he's going to be a better player 2 years from now than Delone Carter, but we'll see. You know,
maybe somewhere is a guy out of the backfield, but that's all Donald Brown.
My guy that I'd be looking for, hopefully somebody caught him in your league. Somebody gave up on him after. He was a big pickup 3 weeks ago, and he hasn't done much since. Ryan Terrain. He looks okay, not great, but Hightower's out. Halu's only going to be a third down back. This is going to be the couple weeks that Terrain's actually going to make or break his season. He's carried the ball and been a stud for a couple games here and there, and that's what I'd be looking for.
I don't love him, but Shanahan does. So
yeah.
All right, and you like Keelan Williams, Jim?
Over Maurice Morris.
Over Maurice Morris.
If you watch the game, if you saw him play, Keelan Williams was much more effective. He had better yards. He had a better average per carry. He was more explosive. And Maurice Morris is old. He's 32, 33
I know,
years old.
but I still think he's going to get the most of the carries.
Nah. Second half, Keelan Williams showed exactly what he was doing. I think he's going to be the man this week.
That's where we disagree. I say Maurice Morris. He says Keelan Williams, but that's either way. And Alphonso Smith against Baltimore.
Yeah.
That's who you think over your boy,
Steven Townsend's
the new law
the
firm.
third bound back, but he's not going to be somebody to go. I don't think Smith's going to do that much, but look, there's a lot of teams on bye, so there's a lot of good running backs out this week. If you're stuck, DeMarco Murray's probably not available. Terrain's probably not available. So now you're talking about Delone Carter, Keelan Williams, or Alphonso Smith. You could probably do worse.
In the long term, too, Alphonso Smith, with Beanie Wells being out for possibly a little while with the hammy, you could see Alphonso Smith being a decent pick in weeks to come. So if you need someone this week and you're looking into the future, Alphonso Smith's a good pick. All right, who do we sit this week?
Now, the bye weeks are really tough because there's 6 teams sitting out a lot of weeks, and that takes up a lot of who you would normally sit.
Sure.
But there's some names out there. D'Angelo Williams, I would sit him against Minnesota. You're probably not going to play him. It's tough. There's a lot of people that are out. Maybe you're stuck playing him, but I would think you can find a better option.
Averaging 3 yards per carry when Jonathan Stewart's looking decent.
And it's funny that you don't like him because he does have dreadlocks. He's got nice hair. So
it's not about the dreads.
Yeah.
I like cornrows this year.
Right. Daniel Thomas against the Giants. Reggie Bush sucks, but he's getting some playing time down there. They're not committed to Daniel Thomas right now. He might be a better running back 2 or 3 years from now. Right now,
not this year.
Not a guy you're going to load up on. Ryan Matthews is hurt again. He's always banged up.
Yeah, but he came back and played. Jim.
Yeah, but he's still – listen, in this type of league, you can't – in any league, you can't afford to get a zero. Or like what happened to Napoleon Kaufman, you're going to call him? Yeah.
Go ahead, I'm going to let you struggle.
What the hell is his name?
Darren McFadden.
McFadden, whatever the hell his name is, the running back from the Raiders. He had 2 carries yesterday. He killed my fantasy team. You can't get a zero from your number 1 or number 2 running back.
So you don't have Michael Bush on there as a possible pickup? I like Michael Bush. I think Michael Bush is going to get a lot of yards this week.
Yeah, he could.
Not this week. I'm sorry. As far as when they come off the bye.
Yeah. I don't think Michael Bush is worthy. He's a stash. I don't think Michael Bush is a stash. He's somebody you might go after next week, but I don't think you have to take him a week while he's on his bye. If you're picking up a running back now, you're hurting. You need to play him this week. You don't need to stash him.
You're right. Unless you got Darren McFadden, and then you might want to have the handcuff.
Yep. And my last guy I'm sitting probably is Montario Hardesty. It's a tough week this week. San Fran stops the run. You may not have a choice again, but he had a decent amount of yards yesterday, but he had 33 carries. 33 carries.
And just looked just north and south, very, very bland, didn't have much.
Okay, but not great.
Okay, but not great.
Yep.
Jim, so I agree with all of your pickups, except I am going Maurice Morris over Keelan Williams, and I agree with all your sits except Ryan Matthews. If you get points per reception, he's shown that he's going to get 5 catches for 50 yards, and I think, yeah, you're right, everybody could get hurt.
Hard to do that from the bench.
You might be right. All right, so that's us. SuicideFantasyFootball.com. Last week to sign up for the second chance. Free League One Crazy Fan. And come hang out with us at the One Crazy Fan tailgate where we'll be broadcasting live. Pre-game, 5 to 6:30, Jim. I didn't do 2 hours. I did 90 minutes. 5 to 6:30 live from the bar at the One Crazy Fan tailgate. Having a good time. Eagles-Dallas pregame.
I want to do an impression real quick. Eagles! That's going to be Eric about 6:45. Broadcasting live. Wasted.
Jim, that's going to be me at about 5:30. Let's be real.
Right.
All right, come hang out. Check us out. SuicideFantasyFootball.com. Fantasy Football Overload. Monday nights, 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock.